Hi there guys, I'm Chris Bowden and welcome to the Geek Group. Today, another in our awesome series of equipment autopsies. Today we have a really giant dinosaur camcorder. This is a Sony BetaCam SX camcorder. It was Unit 4 for a local television station, Channel 17, the local Fox affiliate. We want to thank all the cool guys in the engineering department at Fox for donating this and many awesome goodies for us that are helping to bring us live on Ustream right now, where you could be watching this on our live streaming video feed right here at this link. You can go there and watch us live. This is a model DNW-7, that's Delta November Wilco-7. It's a digital camcorder, 12 volts in, 29 watts, and it's dead. It's really most sincerely dead. We tried to make it work. We were going to use this for one of the live streaming cameras, and we couldn't make it work. And the rule around here is if we can't fix it, we can fix it so it can't be fixed. So let's take it apart and learn about camcorders. I'm going to start by just taking off their custom accoutrements. This looks like some aftermarket stuff, or maybe even something the guys over in the engineering department there made. But it's in the way, so I'm just going to rip it off. It is a auxiliary holder for what looks like of microphones. Here, we'll give you a look at that. There you go. See? Custom mic holder. We'll save that though. We might be able to use that. Okay, now what can we take off that doesn't need to be here, that's just in the way? Let's start with things like the handle on top. I'm going to need a set of Allen wrenches, please. And given that this was made in Japan, I'm guessing they're going to be metric Allen wrenches. So one of those sets that Steve donated, here, we'll get the tool room on the radio. Tool room, this is Studio C. Tool room, could you please bring me one of those keyring sets of metric Allen wrenches that Steve donated? Thank you. I love having a lab, having a tool room, being able to just get on the radio and say, hey guys, I need one of these. And then in just a few moments, it's going to be a great big dude running in here. He's going to be very happy about bringing tools, and that's cool. And he's going to know right where they are, and it's all organized and sorted, and it just works. Now, I don't see an attachment point at the back here. There's this cool cover. There's like a plate right here. Look at that. Let's take that off and see what's under there. I can't take that off. I need a number one. Hang on. It's Gerber Ninja time. I think. See, I'm still getting used to having a Gerber that has all the tools in it. Ha! It works! See, I carried my old Gerber for over 10 years, and by the time I retired it, I'd just gotten used to not having half the tools that belonged in it. So it's kind of a novel treat with my new Gerber to be able to be like, hey, I need a Phillips head screwdriver. And I've just got one right there. Now it's a number 2 Phillips in it, but it works enough to get what I need. Hello there, Mr. Harwood. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Harwood, guardian of the tool room. Thank you, sir. Now I'm just going to leave my radio on and hope that people behave, because the radio's being pretty quiet today, so I'll just leave my radio on during the shoot. The lab here is 43,000 square feet. So it's so big that yelling for other people doesn't work, because right now I could yell as loud as I possibly can, and the people down in the computer lab are not going to hear me. So we use radios for inter-office communications. See if I can, there we go. Let's see what's under here. There is a socket. What is that socket? It's like there's a thing could go here. Some kind of add-on module. It's a D-sub connector. It's a 15-pin, 2-row D-sub connector. You can see down in there. And it's pretty deep. Like, it'll take my whole finger, and I can't reach the bottom with my fingers. It is that deep. So it's some kind of module slips in there. I don't know what. I have absolutely no idea. I'm just going to start taking off visible screws on the back, and we'll get right into this. I think it would probably be a good addition to the equipment autopsy set to get some type of small electric screwdriver, because I think that would speed things up a lot. So I have to go and get some supplies anyway at the local big box hardware store. I think I'm going to get an electric screwdriver. If you guys have any other tool suggestions, not like brand or anything, I've already got that sorted out, but if you have any specific tool suggestions for what I should go pick up specifically for autopsy videos, post them right now in the Geek Group's live IRC, and I'll make notes of them. Now I'm taking off on the back. We can zoom in and see that. Oh, got to wake up the camera guy. There you go. Let's zoom in right there. You can see this. This is the battery holder. There's a plug down here, and when you push down on it, you can see all the pins. The batteries slide on the back and then lock down, because this is an ENG camera. An ENG camera is an electronic news gathering camera, which is, this is one of the big cameras that you see guys, like on the news crew out in the field. Now, there's no lens on the front, but you have to imagine there'd be a lens out to about here. And these cameras have the hardest life of all. Studio cameras, they're prissy, happy little, cameras. These are manly cameras that are out in the field. They get beat up every day. They get tore apart. When you see ENG cameras get retired, they do not work because they're very expensive, and most stations have to operate on a pretty tight budget. So by the time you see this thing get retired, it's had a life. I'm just going to keep taking off screws. There's a big shoulder pad on the bottom. We'll give this to Corey as a fashion accessory. Actually, I could. Hey, Austin! He was around here a minute ago. Austin would wear that and get a whole Mad Max thing going. Totally. There, I'm just going to leave that right there. That can be cool. I could do Mad Max. I could pull that off. Okay, maybe not. All right, what else do we have? We've got parts down on the bottom. We'll dig into this. I'm just taking off screws. I'm getting into parts because if you just start blasting off a lot of the big external screws, you can get into sub-assemblies pretty fast. Now this is kind of cool. I've never seen this before. If you look on the bottom, I'll flip it over so you guys can see it. If you look on the bottom, there's a thing right here and it's labeled breaker. There's a circuit breaker on the bottom. It's only a 29-watt camera, but it's got a circuit breaker, because that's what happens when you spend this kind of money on a camera. Now zoom in here, you can see this is designed to be opened. This is user serviceable parts inside for serious users. You can see there's these little strips of plastic that hang, like when you open it up, it lets it hang there, and that's designed to sit like that. So you could have this on a tripod and open it up, like if you're in a studio doing a live production, you can just, and something died, and you can just pop into it. And inside you get this. Look at all this stuff. Look at that. It's so cool. And there's like replacement slots, like there's probably a card that mounts here. Now, I'll bet as we take this apart, everything's going to come out in cards and modules that are all easily field serviceable. So I'm just going to pop these connectors up and disconnect that cable, and then disconnect this cable. There's a pair of big ribbon cables here. Now, this is kind of cool in that most cameras are not at all designed to really be worked on. This one you can tear into, and that's pretty awesome. I'm going to need, in my toolbox right around there on the actual autopsy set, which we're not on today, there's a couple sets of precision screwdrivers in the upper toolbox. I'm going to need the Phillips head set really bad, and I'm going to need it right soon. Now, there are people watching this who, if you're very familiar with this camera, as I'm taking things apart, you could comment in on the video later and say, hey, at this time he took out this thing or this thing. I'm going to set these aside as I pop them out. Now look, they're all arranged in here in slots, just like in a computer. And all these big cards just pop right out. and they're very easy to replace. Wow, there's so much stuff here. Now, I'm gonna just take a moment and go over the outside of the camera, because these are things that the plugs on the outside of a camera will tell you a lot about how cameras work. So we're just going to take a second and go over them. Now understand, this camera was designed to hold tapes. This is a camcorder. It's not like the ones that we use nowadays where they just feed a video signal out or where they record straight to SD cards. So this has a whole transport thing for an actual physical tape. Inside we've got, here's a display with TC as time code. Okay, so we know it's a serious camera because it's got time code. That's something that consumer cameras don't have. Down here we've got levels, audio select. So this tells you that it's got front and rear audio connections and a wireless connection. And it's got stereo audio with independent levels. And there's an AGC on it, which is an automatic gain controller. You can see the auto switch. Over here, we've got clocks. So we've got, presets, stuff like that. Diagnostics button, data displays, so there's your timecode stuff because you can see the user bit and stuff like that. Over here we've got some more audio stuff, like do you want to have channel 1, do you want to mix the 2 channels or channel 2? This may be for, right here is a speaker built into the side of the camera, because when it's sitting on your shoulder, that's right in your ear, so you can have an audio monitor without needing headphones, which is actually a really nifty idea. There's a spot here for a setup card. And I'm guessing, is there one in it? No, there's no card, but it's like a little memory card kind of thing. Let's tear into that. It's like an SD card from back in the day, similar concept. But this is where you can keep the settings for the camera. So like your color temp and white balance and all that jazz, so that you could copy that camera to camera, which is a handy thing to do. Down here we've got our main on and off. We've got a little thing here, menus, presets, stuff like that. Down here, now, it's kind of hard to see some of the stuff, but we've got this HML, that's the gain, high, medium, or low. We've got DCC, and ATW preset A and B, which is probably our white balance, I'm guessing. And then over here, this is save or standby. You can see there's a sticker here for color temperature, so it's got filters in it. And these numbers are color temperatures. And see where it says like 5600 plus 1/8 ND, that's a neutral density filter. So that's a 1/8 neutral density filter or a 1/64 neutral density. And you should look up neutral density filters. If you're into cameras, that's something you should definitely know about. So look up neutral density filters, and you can find them by clicking this link right here. Now up front, we've got an auto white balance thing. We've got a mic level. We've got VTR start. So this is, think of it like a remote control record button. VTR is videotape recorder. So this would be a totally separate, like a VCR. Really big professional VCRs, and they call them VTRs because they're cool like that. Down here we've got shutter. So we can have shutter controls on it. This is our lens mount, and we're going to see really cool stuff when we get down into there. I'm going to start, instead of taking out all these separate things, I'm going to try taking off these 4 outer ones and see if that'll get us in anywhere. It looks to be about that size. Is it? No, it's one size smaller. So it's that size. Oh, I'm good at this. I'm so good at this. Now we'll twist these off our keychain. I'll just pop these out. This is why I needed Allen wrenches, because a lot of the bigger things on this camera, the bigger fasteners, are done in hex head bolts or hex head socket screws or something like that. I don't know. It's a bolt with a hex socket on top of it. It's got a proper name. I can't think of it at the moment. Probably read it a million times. We've got boxes full of the things. What are those, just for pretty? It does nothing. It does nothing. All right, it does something, but it does it from the inside, and I'm on the outside, so I'm just going to have to suffer. I'm just going to take all these interior screws out. Oh, those are gunged. Wow. Okay, definitely something on a list is quality screwdrivers, because that is garbage. Okay. Well, I got the big ones out. The little ones are gunged up from just years of gunge. And The whole assembly moves though, so we can get to it from the inside. I'm just going to take a bunch of screws off. Now, another dead giveaway that you're dealing with a professional camera is right here. You'll see that. See that funny plug? That's an Xlr plug. This is what real microphones use. A lot of people think that all microphone plugs just like look like a headphone plug, but with only one band. They don't. Real microphone plugs are Xlr. And the difference is, little consumer grade mics, like the mic you have on your computer, it's just a little crappy mic, and they don't have to be very tough. Whereas XLR stuff, you can send the signal over a very long distance. They're low impedance mics, or they're low impedance cables, and they'll take a lot of abuse. It's not at all uncommon for an XLR cable, like Xlr plugs in it, to be in service for 10, 20 years, and still work just as fine as it did from day one. And those screws on the bottom are all cammed out, so I'm not going to mess with that. What else do we have? Oh, hey, look here. Here's a neat bit of stuff. We've got test out, gen lock in, TC in, TC out. Now, TC is time code. And that's, if you look here, now there's a link that'll teach you all about SMPTE time code. Now, SMPTE time code is the heartbeat of video production. Now, gen lock is a synchronization signal that goes from camera to camera. You ever notice when you change your channels on your TV, for a second the whole image rolls and it's all messed up? Okay, well, time code allows you to switch between camera to camera. Like we can do right now. We can go from camera to camera to camera like that, okay? See, what time code does is it lets you be able to change stuff around and look at anything you want, anytime you want, without having any synchronization issues. Because with time code, it just tells the computer, this is where I am, or this is where I am, and it lets all the video signals be marching together in line so that when you change from one camera to another, everything just perfectly works just fine, and you can switch back and forth without having any of that weird synchronization stuff like rolling and weirdness and like when you change channels on your TV. It just works over here and then over here just fine. And everything's really cool like that. So that's the whole purpose of time code and gen lock. Gen lock is very important. And I cannot overemphasize the importance of a master black burst generator and a master synchronizer when you're building your studio. And now you know about gen lock. Okay, so let's get back into tearing into this. There's other plugs on here like remotes and lens and stuff, but we're going to cover that when we start taking apart remotes and lenses and stuff like that. And I kind of want to get into this. So let's see what screws are left. I really want to get inside this camera. I've never gotten to take one of these apart. So I'm pretty excited about this. Ooh, we got a little cover. What's that? I have no idea, but a little screw hole and it says turn. So.
Rich wants you to save the prism if it's a 3-chip.
Rich wants me to save the prism if it's a 3-chip. Okay, well, we'll see. First I have to get in there. It's a camera, so it's a very delicate, gentle process to tear into one of these because they're delicate. Now look at the goodies. Okay, check this out. Now this is, I could do like a whole video just on this because here, this is the tape transport and we've got our feed and take-up reels and we've got here, this is our video head. Now the video head actually mounts at a slight angle. It's cocked a little bit off, you can see. It's really hard to show. But you can see this sits at an angle. And the head, the actual head, it's going to be really hard to see, but I'll see if I can point them out, okay? Look really closely. And if I can brace this, okay. Now, on the side of this drum, right, see the little thing right there? Little thing, and there's another one right here. Those are the actual heads. Okay, and I'll spin that around and it'll be, oh wow, there's a lot on here. There's a head, and there's a head. Now I'm gonna count these out as they pass this spot right here, okay? So now we look up on top, let's find a reference point. Okay, see this big chip right here? That's our chip. So we've got there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 heads on top of that. That's insane. I've never seen one with so many. Are there really 10 heads on top of that? 5. Yeah, there's 10 heads on there, 5 and 5. That's nuts! I've seen 4 heads before, but I've never seen 10. That's beautiful. That's really, really incredible. I've never taken apart a Betamax SP before, so I don't know. That's really impressive. And there's a lot of gearing and cams and synchronization stuff, and I do not have the time to get into that in this video, but we're going to come back. There will be a part 2 on this one, and we're going to come back and talk about that stuff, because that's going to be really cool. This is the back of what appears to be the optics board. So I'm going to dig into this, because I really want to show you the optics on the inside. I want to show you where the image gets converted, you know, the actual photons get converted into an electrical signal, because that's the real camera of the camera. So let's see what we can do. Now that's, hey, hang on here. Now we might be onto something, I think. Can you get out of my way? Can you just, there. We don't need that. Don't need that either. Okay. Get right out of there. Now, what's holding you together? There's a thing here. There's mold growing on the inside of this camera. It's a sad camera. Come on. Okay, I got a million cables that I got to start unplugging here. There we go. Okay, now we'll set that aside. There's our input optics right there, and you can see inside, you can see the sensor. Now here's the back of that assembly. Look at that. All right. Now let's have a look at this. There's one knob holding it all together. One knob. This size? Let's find out. Now the knob has a grub screw on the side. There we go. Take the grub screw off and the knob should slide right out. There we go. Okay, now we're rid of the knob. We don't need that. Okay, now we're down to the bare part. Look at that. Is that cool or what? That is how much electronics it takes to fake an eye. Look at that. It's amazing. Some really tiny SMT technology here. I'm sure somebody at Sony is freaking out, like, no, you can't share that. It's proprietary information. Shut up. Somebody, you can bet that the guys over at Canon bought one of your cameras and took it apart by now, especially something this old. Now that that card just plugs on, and I'll show you guys these cards as I take them off. Here, there's the first card. I'll bet there's somebody out there who could talk about exactly what that is. That's an EPGW card. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. But there's somebody out there who knows all about these cameras and fixes them for a living, or fixed this camera, 10 years ago. And he'll teach you guys all about it. He can comment in the videos, he can comment in the forums, and we could all learn about this. Need to pop this up. There we go. Okay. Oh, wow. This one's got stuff. This one's got big stuff. Okay. Here's the second card. And it's got some big stuff on the back. I think this is a 3CCD card, or a 3CCD camera. I'm not 100% yet, but let's find out. Now,
IRC is saying it is.
IRC says it is. Okay, now let me teach you guys a bit about what a CCD is. A CCD is a charge-coupled device, and think of a CCD as the eye, okay, the electronic eye itself. Now, some cameras only have one, and they use one for all the colors coming in. And a lot of cameras do. Like, your consumer-grade cameras are almost all single CCD. But if you want to do it really well, you take the image coming in, and you split it apart into 3 different pictures. Okay, you take that single picture and you feed it into a prism, and you feed it out as the prism acts like a divider by optical frequency. So the low frequency light goes one way, like all the red light goes over here, and then all the middle light, all the green light goes here, and then all the blue light, the really short frequency light, goes over here. So you've got red, green, and blue, because everything in video breaks down to 3 colors. Just like in printing, everything breaks down to cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's the 4-color process. Well, in video, it's additive color, or it's subtractive color. So it's different. You use RGB. You use red, green, and blue, and it's the same as the CMYK process, except backwards, because you're dealing with light instead of ink. So here's another board we got off. Now look at that. That's got a big thing on it. It looks like, what is that, a crystal or something? Yeah, it's a crystal. It is a 28.63636 megahertz crystal right there. So that's kind of cool. And that's another board we got off there. We'll set that aside. Now we've got this big thing, which is another couple boards, and they all plug. It's a great little puzzle here if you want to try and put all these back together again. Okay. And this one's got a lot of RF shielding on it. It's got a little shield surrounds the whole thing, and I'm trying to take my time and do this right, because I really don't want to break anything at this stage. We're down into some delicate stuff. And we're taking apart the back end of camera optics. This is about as delicate as it gets. And it's fascinating stuff, so I really want to be able to share this with you guys. So we're going to take our time. We're going to do it right. That's too big. But that one's just right. Oh, come on. There we go. That particular set of screws is in really, really hard. And I'm trying to not break my screwdriver taking them out, because we've already killed one screwdriver out of this cheap set of craptacular screwdrivers today. They're really bad. They're like a $5 set of screwdrivers. They're a generic Yum-Cha precision Phillips screwdriver set. They're really bad. They are one of the worst sets I've ever owned. I'm not saying something, because I've owned some pretty crappy tools. Need to get some good American-made ones instead of these crappy Chinese knockoffs. But we're low budget, so I do what I can, all right? And for this last one, I'm just going to cut it off, because it's just a metal frame, and we don't need it. And if I can get that to spin, I might be able to loosen that screw enough to get it off. Nope. So I'll just cut it off, and now the guys at home can lay odds as to whether or not this video ends with me getting stitches or an eye injury. All right. Now we're down. Look at that. Oh yeah. See how there's 3 different elements? We're definitely down into it's going to be a 3 CCD setup. These are going to be the actual CCD units themselves. So we're really down into the heart of it. And I've never taken one of these apart, so I'm going to take my time and be careful with this. There's a couple screws on the side. It's not giving up without a fight. There we go. All right, we got it. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. All right. Now I'm going to pop off these whole sets, these big cables that go here. These are the CCD cables. This is probably some kind of multiplexing board. Okay, now we got the cable out. Here's the board. You can see that. Oh yeah, now it's getting cool. All right. Oh really, big screws? We're back to big screws? Cool. Big screws are easy. There we go. Okay. All right, I've got it. All right, now here's the input, and looks like a polarizing filter on the input there. Now here is the prism itself. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Now, you can see right through it, and you can see the CCD down in there. But as I move it, you realize that's a solid block of glass. Okay, if you look at the reflection off the table there, that's a single solid block of glass. And it's so pure and it's so clean that you can, what you're actually seeing is 3 different CCDs, but they're all perfectly aligned. I mean, it took a lot of work to do that. You gotta think about that. There's these 3 CCDs in there, and they've all got to be perfectly aligned and in just the right spot. And if you look at them, okay, the light comes in the front, right? And you can see it straight through. You can see the CCD. But look where they're actually at. All that light gets diverted, like all the red goes over here, and all the green in the middle, and all the blue over here, or something like that. This will be green, for sure. And one of these will be red, and one of these will be blue. I'm guessing this is red, and this is blue, but I honestly don't know, and they're not labeled. Well, they're labeled with all kinds of stuff, but they don't say like red, blue, green. I wish they did. But they are numbered. Look, 1, 2, 3. See, 1, 2, 3. But that's the prism right there. Now I'm gonna try and pop these off. They're probably, at this stage, it's probably cemented in place. But if I can pop these off, because this will obviously never work as a prism again, like as a camera. We're not putting this back together. And there's a lot of tape for light-tightedness. What do you guys think on at home? What do you guys think on the stream? Should I take this apart from the stage, or should I just leave it together and leave it as art?
Leave it as art.
I'm taking it apart. I'm going to pop these cables right off because I want to show people what a CCD looks like. And this is such a rare opportunity to be able to share this. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I think they're cemented right on. I think they're cemented and soldered right on. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. I might. Yeah, it worked. Wow. That was cool. Okay.
I want you to use fire.
I thought I was going to have to use solder to do it, but it turns out I don't. I can pop them off. Now that's there, that's there.
Well, how about this fire?
I do not need to use fire on this particular application. All right, well, I don't remember what I said earlier, but I can assure you that this is red, this is green, and this is blue. This is the red side, because if you look in there, see how everything's red? Look at that. Now if I go here, it's all green. And on the bottom, it's all blue. See how it totally splits out the colors? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Here, I'll shine it out. I'll put a white light in the front, okay? There's a white light in the front. Now if you look on the table, it splits it right out. There's red, see? White light is always composed of a mixture of red, green, and blue. That's how you get white light, is you add all this together. So if I take this the other way, you can see there's red light, green light, blue light, and it's a beautiful blue. It really is pretty. That's an amazing bit of optics. Think of the engineering, the work that it took to be able to make that, to be able to design a piece of glass that can so purely and perfectly separate light into component colors. That's really amazing. Okay, now this takes, all the light comes in there and it breaks it out into 3 fundamental colors there. And then it goes into these, and these are the CCDs. These are the charge coupled devices. This is the actual chip, and it's covered in thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions and millions of tiny little sensors. And each one of those sensors has 3, no, it doesn't. No, because we don't have subpixels here. Each one of these, this is straight up pixels. So like these are all your blue, your red, or blue, green, and red pixels. And this is where pixels actually come from. The pixels that you're watching right now on this YouTube series, this is where they started. This is the pixel creator. How cool is that? That's what a CCD is. This is the actual camera. And all the other stuff, all this hardware, all this stuff is used to handle the signal that comes from these pixels. It's used to manipulate it and store it and transmit it from place to place. And it's so cool. It's so amazing that you can do this. I mean, people thought this up. People made this. That's really cool. So there's your look inside part 1 of tearing into a big professional camcorder. That's professional camcorder equipment autopsy part 1. We will be back with part 2, where we're going to get a much more detailed look at the cards, and we'll come in. I think somebody died. Okay, so we'll be back for part 2, and we'll get a look at the cards, and we'll get a look at the transport and all that, and that'll be really cool, because I mean, look at all that stuff in there. How cool is that? It's awesome. There's a fan in here. There's an actual, look at that, down inside there's a fan. There's a cooling fan inside the camcorder. It's that serious. They're not screwing around. So, I'm Chris Bowden with the Geek Group. Thank you for watching. Please tune in next time for part 2 of the Canon Equipment Autopsy. Until then, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, call your mom, and donate. It's your donations that make this possible. It's how we are able to take cool things apart and teach kids about science and engineering. Okay, so go to thegeekgroup.org and go right there, click on that, donate, kick a buck. Come on, kick in $5, $20, whatever works for you. We're not picky. Donate 50 cents and we're happy, but help out, okay? Learn more at www.thegeekgroup.org, where you yourself can become a member and get one of these nifty membership cards. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, they're cool. All right, I'm Chris Bowden. I'll see you next time. You guys have fun. Keep exploring. See ya.
This video was made possible by a grant from the Future Girl Foundation.
This video was made possible by thousands of private donations from members and viewers like you. Please visit thegeekgroup.org for more information on how you can donate and become a part of our dreams of Avalon.